Hi there. At Motor Trend, we have always had a special relationship with the Mazda Miata because we invented it. True story. In the late 1970s, Bob Hall was writing for us and he was asked by the then president of Mazda, what kind of car should we build? Bob, being an automotive journalist, said, ooh, it should be small and light and quick, and you should be able to catch bugs in your teeth, and it should be just like an old British Roadster, except it should start every morning, and then at night it shouldn't create a lake of oil in your garage. Fast forward a decade, and Mazda gave the world the Miata. Since then, they've gone on to sell almost 1 million of them, making it the most successful Roadster of all time. The question becomes, is the new 4th generation 2016 Miata as good to drive as the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd gen cars? Of course it is, and I'm going to tell you why. So let's talk about the new 4th generation ND Miata, because it is all new for 2016. Biggest changes, obviously, are the way it looks. Mazda decided to butch it up. They wanted a more masculine car. They wanted to get away from the stigma that only homosexual hairdressers drive these things, which I always thought was weird because my friend who's gay who cuts hair has a beat-ass 1970 Chevy C10 pickup. But anyways, they've made the front angrier. I don't know if it's more masculine, but it's definitely got this like insecty Robotech kind of thing going on. Not horrible, not great, it's okay. The rear is really nice. The more you look at it, the more you will see it's a BMW Z8 mixed with a Jaguar F-Type, but miniaturized. I think that's its strongest angle. I think the side profile is particularly strong, especially this nice muscular rear haunch, which of course makes it more masculine. Or is that feminine? Under this hood, normally sits a 2-liter naturally aspirated inline-4 that makes 155 horsepower and 148 pound-feet of torque. Of course, this is a Japanese spec car, so this is actually a 1.5-liter naturally aspirated inline-4 that makes 130 horsepower and about 111 pound-feet of torque. Besides power, what's the difference between the two? Weight. In this configuration, this car is over 100 pounds lighter than the 2-liter, which of course, if you're into handling, is very important. I asked Mazda, I said, hey, is there ever a chance that we're gonna get the 1.5-liter in the States? And they said, you Americans, you like to bury your right foot and pass people without having to drop 2 gears. But they didn't say no, so the answer is maybe. This is gonna be real graceful. Let's see, do this. Rather than having a seat height adjuster, what they decided was to put the seat on an elevated track. So as it rolls forward like this, it actually elevates. And their thinking was that if you're short and you can't reach the pedals, if you go forward, you probably also want to sit up higher. Saves 17 pounds per seat. And finally, you're probably wondering why I'm wearing this horribly cheap rental tuxedo. Reason is about 100 kilometers that way, somebody once filmed a James Bond movie and my producers thought it would be hysterical if I wore it. Obviously, it was a complete and total failure. Let me change into something more comfortable. Oh, this is so much better. Right, so I am on Scotland's most horrific road. It's wet, there's no shoulder, there's semi-trucks coming at me, which you'll probably see in a second. But I'm in a Miata, which is fabulous. Top is down, going over 30 miles an hour, rain is not in my hair. One of the best shifters in the world. Mazda will actually tell you it's the best, but they don't drive a lot of Hondas, I guess. I'm a little hesitant to take my eyes off the road because of the condition of this road, but I'm still having fun. Oh, look, a semi-truck. Let's talk about power. As we discussed, this is actually the 1.5 liter inline four, an engine we're not getting in the States. This is a pre-production car. It's not on sale in the US yet. By the time you watch this video, it will be. It makes 130 horsepower or thereabouts and about 111 pound-feet of torque. And that doesn't sound like a lot, but this car weighs nothing. In fact, the 1.5 liter weighs less than the 1989 car. I'm not kidding. It actually weighs less. And this has airbags and seat heaters. Whoa! And a decent nav system. We didn't get cream. That was, do you see that? Holy shit. Now look, many of you are gearing up to write something in the comments like, LOL, for that kind of money, I could have 17 Fox body Mustangs with cooling flows that run 9 seconds in the quarter. And I have no doubt you could, but you're missing the point. While this car is absolutely fast enough, that's not what it's about. Handling, handling, handling. The Miata is about handling. Is there a better handling production car? Not really. As much as I'm loving the Miata, and I'm really loving the Miata, the handling, 7,000 RPM, naturally aspirated engine. I love how softly the traction control kicks on when this, the tires are losing grip because it's soaking wet out because we have a break in the rain. As much as I love this car right now, I have to get off this road. It's heavily trafficked. There's stone walls everywhere. Some of the very best driving roads in the world are right here in Scotland, and we're gonna go find one. This car and this road, I hope one day all of you get to experience something like this. This is a narrow Scottish, it has to be a C road. The British always like to talk about their B roads, but this is smaller than that. And this car can just, it's just so perfectly matched. I know we've already established it, but in case you're wondering how this car is to drive, it's so impossibly good. Everything's right. The steering wheel's right, the shifter's right, the pedals are right, easy heel and toe downshifts. And again, it's the small engine, but it revs so freely, the car's so light, you have plenty of power for what you want to do. The ride's even good. They've got control arms everywhere, and while they, obviously give it superior handling, they also give it this wonderful ride quality. So one question might be, are there any cars that compete with the Miata? And the answer is not really. I mean, yes, you can get a used Boxster, but it's just kind of a different thing. It's gonna be a much more powerful car. You'll probably get one for the same money as a new Miata, but it's just different. Nothing wrong with the Boxster. It's just mid-engine, where this is the classic front engine rear wheel drive. Pick your poison, but Miatas are just unique. It goes back to what Bob Hall was talking about in the 70s. I want a light, British-ish roadster, but I want it to start and be dependable and fun. I just want it to be fun, and that's exactly what this car is. So you take all those attributes, right? The great turn-in, the incredible reflexes, the balance, and you blend them all together, and what you wind up with is something that's a momentum car. It's not the fastest accelerating car on the block. We've established that. But once you're going, you just don't have to slow down. You can just jam through corners. It's just a wonderful feeling, and actually the very definition of driving fun. We're coming up on our annual Best Drivers Car competition. The Miata here will be competing. And, we always talk about what makes a really good driver's car. And there's several things, of course, but one of them is driver's confidence. And the Miata, and again, I guess it's similar to a Boxster, but I really believe I can place this car anywhere I want. Whoa, like that. Anyways, it's a very confidence-inspiring car, like all great driver's cars, but it's also more flickable, more tossable, more fun. you know, when you do these videos, you want to point out, aha, there's something bad about this car, and it's cramped, there's nowhere to really put your sunglasses, trunk's not all that big, but who cares? You know, if you're buying this as a primary car, you're cool, good for you. If this is your secondary car, then none of that matters. This is a car you pull out on the weekends and you find your favorite road and you go murder it. And then it doesn't have downsides. It just doesn't. In fact, I feel like I've been driving all day and we've still got 2/3 of a tank of gas. It's efficient, and we've been driving like this. At the beginning of the video, I went ahead and told you that yes, this Miata is better than every Miata that's ever come before it. And after a few hundred miles through Scotland, still totally true. Why? Why is that? Well, you know, it's the original idea done better. And again, it's not like they amped it up. It's not suddenly making 600 horsepower or anything like that. It's not extreme. But what it is a very focused, a very articulated, a very distilled version of the essence of what makes a Miata a Miata. And remember what that is? It's the idea, the notion that the rider and the horse are one. And it's truer now than it ever has been. In its own little way, this car is simply mega. Like that.
Nice, you got that line out.
He keeps touching me. He's playing with my blouse. And we're gonna die. And over here. All right, what do you think? Turn back?
Yeah,
Road is disintegrated. Caution. That's probably a good sign we should turn back. We're about to fucking die.